Happy spring. We have dressed as blue sky and cherry blossoms for you.
And you know, you're not crazy. It's exactly the same jacket. It just, we didn't plan very well.
We did not.
Twist, lords, whatever. Funny story, I was at the grocery store the other day and a woman came out to me and said, "Excuse me, are you Jody Vance?" And I said, no, Linda Steele. She says, "Oh, I know, I watched the show. There's two of you." And I was like, "Oh, whatever. Thanks
But
for
everybody
watching."
says it's Steele and Vance, so it's backwards when they're watching us. Remember Amanda Bates said, "You guys got to swap seats. It doesn't work." And you get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, the spring forecast is supposed to be warmer and drier this year with a bit of moodiness. There might be still some nuttiness going on until we break right through, but happy spring.
I'm super down.
Oh, and
with
that's a
this.
picture I took. Is it beautiful? Are those magnolias?
Magnolias,
Oh, I love
yes.
that.
Me too. Me
Love
too. I'm with you.
Vancouver. Yeah.
This is the best time of year to be in Vancouver, I believe. I was digging in the dirt this weekend and getting things ready for this next season. So I don't want to fast forward into summer too quickly. We are going to still have the rain, maybe even, you know, the hail in the fork. You know what
Oh, I
it's
thought you
like.
were going to say snow, and I was
No, that's
going,
Edmonton.
yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so viewing party today, $100 at the CHEK is up for grabs. The BC Restaurant and Food Services Association is our sponsor here. We're very excited about this. We got, you know how many viewing party photos we got last week? Almost 100.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
people are
Thank you
into
for
it.
watching.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff to talk about on this show. You may be aware that measles is making a return. Good grief. We eradicated it pretty much, and it's back because people are all freaked out about vaccinations. So we're going to talk to scientist Jason Tetro about why it's time to get vaccinated if your children are not.
Yeah, a couple of aha moments with this man. He's a researcher with a specialty in emerging pathogens. This man knows what he's talking about, literally written the book on this. We also have an amazing documentary, the director and also an ageism specialist from UBC on stolen time.
Yeah, this is a great documentary that is actually premiering at VIFF tonight and in Vancouver anyway over the next several days and other cities. And it is about the for-profit nursing care sector and concerns, things that need to be addressed.
Yeah, some definite important talking points that we all need to be discussing. And we have a big conversation about fad diets because a headline rolled by yesterday, a new study out. This was rather shocking to read.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing intermittent fasting. A lot of people are doing Ozempic or keto or whatever, the Wild Rose cleanse or something. There's a lot of that going on, and some of it works. Maybe it works for you, not for others, but some of it can be dangerous, like this study about intermittent fasting. We're going to dig into that.
We are, but first, it is time for your hot headlines.
So we talked last week about former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney passing away, a great statesman, and his body is actually lying in state right now in Montreal. I talked to a friend who was talking to the Mulroney family in Ottawa, and they'd been standing for hours as people came to pay their respects. And she said to them, "Oh, you must be so tired." And they were like, "No, we love this. We are so thrilled to see the love and support and respect for their father."
I love to see the conversations watching the coverage being had of people who had disagreements with them, people who were at odds politically with him, who had come together and made amends in latter years and showed their love and respect. And so often we talk about the fact that politics is so divisive and nasty and negative.
Yeah.
And it takes us back to a time when, yeah, it was politics still, but there was some decorum there.
And respect.
Yeah.
Love to see a return to those days.
He had lots of good friends.
I would not happy to see a return to this. So if you haven't filled up your vehicle, you might want to be doing that. Check that out. Gas prices could be up to $2.30 by May. They've already gone up 5 cents, I think, in the past week. We're also moving into the summer blend season. That makes gas cost more expensive. And then April 1st, the carbon tax goes up again in BC. I think by 23% or something.
It is. Yep, it's 23%, and it's going to hit hard for a lot of people. And I guess the goal is to try and make people that don't have enough money even to pay that carbon tax actually move into a vehicle that doesn't require gas. We got to do something, but what that looks like, I don't know. But certainly this is an issue that the Conservatives are using to cast some stones.
Yeah, both federally and provincially. But federally, Pierre Poilievre today was in the House. Well, this is what he said he was going to do.
The House declared non-confidence in the Prime Minister and his costly government for increasing the carbon tax by 23% on April 1st as part of his plan to quadruple the tax while Canadians cannot afford to eat, heat, and house themselves, and call for the House to be dissolved so Canadians can vote in a carbon tax election.
He's got his wedge issue right there.
Yeah, well, and he knew it wasn't going to go anywhere because he doesn't have the votes. The NDP have already signed up to prop up the Liberals, but it was about keeping the narrative out there.
It's very strategic.
And it is an issue here in BC, as we just mentioned. And so check out this first poll that came out from Angus Reid.
This is something.
Around if there was an election today. Looked pretty good for the NDP, 43%. But look at the Conservatives tied with the BC United. I'm sure their heads blew off. And then a new poll came out today from Main Street, and it was even worse for the BC United and for the NDP, no less.
Look at this, though.
If there was an election today, look at that. The BC NDP would get 52 seats. The BC United would get zero seats, and the Conservatives would get 40. I mean, a lot of people are saying that can't be right. But apparently, Conservative leader John Rustad was telling a reporter in Victoria that was what their internal polling was showing them too. So it was like, wow, this is going to be a fascinating election.
Yeah, not resonating in this moment, that's for sure. Lots of politics. We'll keep our finger on the pulse for you. Other things happening. This one rattled me because you know I love to walk my dogs in trees. And while I don't walk in Stanley Park, this one shook me a bit because it happened in a morning on a path in Stanley Park. A very serious sex assault in Stanley Park. And the perpetrator still on the loose. So this is, they've got
extra patrols with the horses, the police on horses and what have you. But yeah, it is scary. Here's something too that's interesting and affects all of us. Well, most of us anyway. If you happen to have an iPhone or an Apple device like a laptop, Apple is essentially being accused of being a monopoly and having an illegal monopoly.
Yeah, the Justice Department is saying no go on this. It's basically rooted in their app store that they're holding other apps out of their app store.
Keeping the prices going.
Right. I'm still mad because you lose one plug and you can't, the other plug doesn't have the right.
Have they not forced them to change that though? They have to go to a universal?
In the EU.
Oh, I thought they did here too.
Well,
no?
I'd love
I'll
for
check
that
that out.
to be
I will Google that.
Let's do that.
They should.
Talking about across the pond, the UN, a big statement by the Secretary General at the UN about Gaza. Have a listen real quick.
I call on the Israeli authorities to ensure complete and unfettered access for humanitarian goods throughout Gaza and for the international community to...
Gutierrez there is accusing the Israelis of weaponizing hunger and says there is a man-made famine about to hit across Gaza. The people of Gaza starving to death with nowhere to go and borders shut and all of the politics around it. We thought it was important to just put forward the UN statement there.
There is something good that just happened today, and that is that the Americans have sort of shifted on their policy, and they are now supporting a sustained ceasefire and hostage exchange. So we'll see where that goes. This is just a devastating situation, regardless if you're Palestinian or Israeli. Everybody has just barely been able to sleep, and
the humanity,
it's terrible.
The humanity. Have we found Kate Middleton?
I don't know. Even Prince William said something the other day like, "Oh, I missed her." Just making a joke. She showed up in public, and then people said, "That's not her." Well, not this picture.
Oh, this one? Yeah.
There was a different photo of her that people said, "That's not even her. It's a body double." And I was like, I just at this point, I don't even care. But I do think the royal family should figure out a way to address this to make this story go away.
Hand the woman a newspaper, take some video of her talking, and release it. Like, come on.
And then it would say, "Oh, it's AI, it's manipulated."
Oh, right. Nobody will be satisfied. That's true. Pet parkers.
Okay,
I want to know all about this.
I went to my grocery store in Yaletown the other day, and I saw these interesting things outside. I thought, what's that? Oh, I've heard about them. They are app automated kennels for dogs. So if you don't want to tie your dog up and worry that someone's going to dog nap it,
never tie your dog up.
You can do your app, and the dog is in a ventilated thing. You're in your shop for half an hour or whatever, and you go out and get your dog out.
Smart. Ventilated and locked. Two things. Are they free? Or are they cost?
You know what? I think there's a cost, but I didn't dig into it. Not being a dog owner, I just thought it was kind of clever.
Not a dog owner yet.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it.
Here's something else that's interesting. I saw somebody tweet a picture of this cycling program for seniors in long-term care.
Yeah,
it's called Cycling Without Age. They go into nursing homes, they pick up seniors, they give them bike helmets, and they talk to them and they take them on a little ride, and this is them going around the West End.
Love it.
And I thought, what a brilliant idea. And they're going to kick the program up, get it going again in May.
Let's talk about our lost legend, John Garrett.
No, George
Oh, sorry,
Garrett.
George Garrett. John Garrett. That's my hockey
Yeah.
colleague. Sorry there, Cheech. I didn't mean to have you gone there, buddy.
George
Garrett.
was the top dog at
He
CKNW, an inveterate newsman who was beloved, passed away at the age of 89. This guy broke every story in the world in PC for the longest time, and he was the nicest human being. I just want to show you a picture. When I first started at CKNW, I met George when I was at CTV, and he let me have a long phone call about respite care because his wife had dementia and was in long-term care, and I was dealing with my mom at the time.
Isn't he just the nicest?
He really was the nicest
So
guy.
my story with him is when I first started, like, I think I was 21 years old, and I'm faxing one at a time press releases at CKNW, like back in the day. And George would come to the mailroom and get his stuff. And then he'd see me standing there and he would bring me a coffee and we'd stand there and have coffee and he'd tell me stories. That's
He
the type
was
of guy.
smart, he was nice, and he was
friend.
an absolute news hound right until the end.
Yeah,
Loved
totally.
it. Loved it.
Those are your headlines later in the show. An intermittent fasting headline has opened a discussion on diets. We're going to discuss that.
And up next, they're back. Highly infectious diseases like measles are resurfacing in Canada. What is going on and how can you protect yourself? Scientist Jason Tetro joins us next.
And your viewing party. Oh, yes, here we go, guys. We got so many viewing party photos last week. Here we go. Kate in Victoria.
We have Annette and Molly in Richmond. Hello.
I love that. And Kathy in Langley. Hey, Kathy.
That looks like my sister, my friend. Rhonda in Kelowna. Hi, Rhonda.
There's Rhonda. Hi. And Reese, Burton, and Rosemary are in there as well somewhere. That is our viewing party for this segment. We got more to come. $100 at the keg up for grabs.